If you're LGBTQ or a person of color or a female, you're in a marginalized group. And marginalized people, people pushed to the margins, have learned to acquiesce, defer, and say yes to those not in the margins. Studies show that marginalized people, LGBTQ, people of color, females, apologize way more often than straight white males because they've learned to do so. There's a video where a guy bumps into a woman, but she apologizes. That's a conditioned response. I'm sure if you asked her later, she wouldn't remember that he bumped into her, but she apologized. If you're LGBTQ or a person of color or female, you've apologized enough for the rest of your life. You've apologized for many things, many times, for many years. You can stop now. I specifically invite you to stop saying, "I'm sorry." You'll be amazed at how much freer and more whole you feel. I'm not saying don't apologize when you're wrong. I'm saying don't be apologetic. So what about when you do hurt someone? When you bump into someone? Say, "Excuse me." How is that different? Excuse me is proactive. It moves things forward. Whereas "I'm sorry" doesn't feel good to anybody. "I'm sorry" is essentially a report on an internal state. I'm cold, I'm hungry, I'm sorry. The best the other person can do is feel bad for you. It's really putting the ball in their court to absolve you. And to you, it's a negative. Our brains take our words literally, and your brain doesn't need to hear you say, "I'm sorry," because what it too often hears is, "I'm terrible, I'm not worthy." That's what our brain hears. Try "excuse me" and see if it feels different. And the attention it will take you to create the new habit will show you how often you say, "I'm sorry." And it will break the automatic habit of it. Well, what about when it's something bigger? Maybe you're late and you kept someone waiting 20 minutes. You can say, "Please forgive me, thank you for waiting." Do you see how different that is from "I'm sorry"? The big explanation about the traffic doesn't really matter either. Just "thank you for your patience." What about when you're wrong? You've wronged someone, you've hurt someone. For heaven's sake, say, "I was wrong. Will you please forgive me? I was wrong for whatever it is you did. Will you please forgive me?" That is helpful to restore the relationship. Nobody can act on, "I'm sorry, I feel terrible." But "I was wrong, will you forgive me?" is a whole different thing. Wouldn't you love to hear that from the people who hurt you? Also, you don't need to say "I'm sorry" to God. If you've done something and you feel the weight of it, then say, "I was wrong. God, I was wrong. Thank you for forgiving me," which God has already done. But no lowly worm stuff. No, "I'm sorry, I'm not worthy of you," because that's not true. And it doesn't do your brain any good to hear you say that. And if your brain keeps throwing you curveballs, the "I'm not worthy" stuff, a remnant of your conditioning, you can just say, "I am God's child, created in God's image." Keep saying it, and it will become the new conditioning. If you have any questions, leave them below. I'm happy to answer. Come say hello at freedhearts.org. Go, love and be loved. You are worthy. You are beloved.